Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn all the most efficient, powerful, abundant ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent, increasing revenue year over year. I cover topics from pricing, sales, networking, objections, ideal clients, some marketing ideas, and really about how to increase your cash flow and profitability and set boundaries so you have the firm that you've always dreamt of. You're no longer giving away your time for free. You're no longer putting yourself on sale, and you are being paid for the value and worth that clients actually appreciate you for. So you'll learn tips and strategies as well as hear personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm of your dreams and the life full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have another special guest. This is a very special guest though, because she's actually a current client. But before we welcome her to the show, if you are an accounting, tax, bookkeeping firm owner, and you are sick of grinding 14-hour days and totally exhausted and unhappy with your firm, and even might be thinking of closing your doors or feel underpaid and overworked, you're not alone. It's not your fault. And I know that really no one is training you on really how to solve and fix these problems once and for all and connect the dots to show you how to do it. So if what you want is to step up and take complete control of your firm's sales and double your revenue with ease, if not maybe even triple it like our special guest did today, and you want to feel confident about charging premium fees to your current clients and have them appreciate you for the value you provide and get paid what you're worth, then here's what I've got for you. Myself and Denise have set aside time to speak to you personally about how you can apply some of these ideas of what you're going to hear today into your firm. So head on over to theabundantcall.com if you'd like to book a phone call with us today. And we look forward to connecting with some of you. My only requirement is that you own your own firm. And today, our special guest is the founder and owner of Infinite Accounting Services. She started in the accounting field when she was 16 years old, and her grandmother, who owns several businesses, trained her on how to pay bills and keep the books for the business. She attended college and also received her MBA in accounting. For over 25 years now, she's worked in the accounting industry. And in 2018, she decided to step away from being an employee and became her own boss and started her firm. And since then, she's serviced over 350 clients with taxes and bookkeeping services. So now let's welcome Danielle to the show. Hi, Danielle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, I'm so happy that you are taking out the time to be here with us today on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. And, you know, it's just a true honor. So today is a unique day and a special day because you get to hear from a current student of the 8-week sales mastery training. Actually, she's sort of finished it or is in the process of finishing and has had so much success and awesomeness come out of it instead of really struggling, especially around your confidence and values and not having boundaries set up. So, but before we dive into today's episode, Danielle, why don't you share with everyone, you know, a little bit about yourself, when you got into the accounting and tax space, and something unique and interesting about you that has nothing to do with accounting and tax.
Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Douglas. I am the owner and founder of Infinite Accounting Services. I've been doing accounting services since I was 16 years old. My grandmother is actually my inspiration. She's owned her own businesses since before I was born.
Oh, wow.
So when I turned 16 years old, she pushed me right into the business and put me right in the financing part, paying bills, creating invoices for clients, keeping up with like the bookkeeping and all the financing and different things like that. So she pushed me right in there and trained me as much as she could on what she had been keeping up with the business, but she didn't have an accounting background. So I decided to go to school to pursue my education in accounting. I got my master's degree in business administration, and it was with accounting background. So it
Mm-hmm.
was emphasis on me taking accounting classes, but my MBA is in business administration. So before I started my business, I worked for her for
Oh,
years,
wow.
keeping up with
Grandma
her.
taught you right.
She sure did, and she taught me how to be the businesswoman that I am today. So I oversaw her staff,
Wow.
paid employees, had to keep up with inventory, had to keep up with, submitting invoices to patients for supplies because she sold DME supplies to people's homes. So I had to be like her administrative, you know, person to run
Right.
her business. In 2018 is when I decided to step out and start my own firm. And it was after I worked for a few CPAs. Love working, in that industry, but I had wanted to be my own boss. And it was because I saw that from my grandmother. She was
Mm-hmm.
her own boss and she instilled that in all of her grandchildren. To, to be your own boss, have your own. It's nothing wrong with working for someone. Don't have anything against it, but being able to create a foundation, being able to build a legacy because that's what she was about,
Mm-hmm.
building a legacy for us, and being able to give back, being able to make what you want to make, and there not be a limit or somebody telling you you capped out at this salary and this is as much as you can make. There is none of that when you are your own boss. She
Totally. And
really, really, yes, she
uh,
really, really inspired me and continued to push me and still to this day encourages me to keep going, keep
wow.
pushing. So that's just a little bit about
Yeah, that's
myself.
awesome. Having your
Absolutely.
MBA, doing all the financial stuff for your grandmother, you went out on 2018 in your own and started a bookkeeping firm, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So tell us about that transition from quitting corporate and saying, you know what, I'm going to have my own legacy. I'm not going to have a limit or cap on my salary. I'm not going to have anyone tell me what to do ever again. Because I think there's a lot of people listening that want all those things, but they're relying on that paycheck every 2 weeks. And for you just to step out and go all in on starting your bookkeeping firm, how did you do that?
In 2018, when I started, I was actually still working for a CPA. So I was doing my business on the side part time, and I was working for the CPA firm full time. And it started to become overwhelming because my business was growing a lot due to taxes, because everybody has to file a tax return.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I transitioned and I was going to work for another CPA firm, and I did for about 4 months. That is when the shutdown happened due to COVID-19, and I was let
Mm-hmm.
go.
Got it. Okay.
So it gave me no choice but to jump into my business and focus solely on my business and let it take off and grow the way I wanted it to. Not to mention, in the back of my mind, I was thinking I will never be fired again. I
Right? We think a
would
lot of people
never.
though,
Yes,
they think, "Hey, I got a job, I'm good." And it's like, actually, you're not
yes,
that good because you could get fired, laid off, cuts, whatever at
absolutely.
any time.
At any time, absolutely, for any reason. And I was the last one in, so of course I was gonna be the first one out. So
Yeah.
there was no, it was just you. We have to let you go, and that was the end of it. So I do not want that for myself ever again.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, it was a struggle definitely because there wasn't a lot of business coming my way at first because everything was shut down around me. So no one was going to work. you
Yeah,
know,
so what did you do? Like, what was some of your bigger challenges, in 2018? And then I do want to fast forward it to when we met
okay.
in 20, I guess, what are we in 2022 right now? But what were those challenges when you didn't have any clients? Like, how did you get your first few clients in your business?
I marketed to family and friends.
Yeah.
I started within my circle,
Yep.
letting them know that I started up my own firm, that I'm preparing tax returns. It was right during the tax season, because when I started my business, it was in January of 2018. So I let all of them know that I started up the business and did the worst thing possible with letting them know that they would receive a discount. And
That is the worst thing. I'm glad you prefaced that with that was the worst thing possible. And we're going to get into that because Danielle's seen massive, massive increases and huge successes
yes,
from the 8 week sales mastery training that she's done. But yeah, starting
yes,
out with a discount. But I think, Danielle, everyone thinks that that's a good idea. Why is that not a good idea?
it's not a good idea because you are cutting out you and your worth. You're
Yeah.
not being paid for all the time that you spent, with the education. You spent a lot of money on education, which I know I have. You spend a lot of time learning um all the different things that you need to know to do taxes and to do bookkeeping, and all of your experience. All of this is your time invested. So when you take a discount from somebody, it's like you're slapping yourself in the face
Yeah.
because you got this education and got this experience so that you could get paid your worth. So I was cutting my worth, discounting myself to family and friends so that they could bring me their business, and I guess stop going to the person that they have been going to. So I was just trying to beat out the competition, so to speak.
Yep.
And it was the worst thing that I could have ever decided to do.
Yeah.
Ever.
So fast forward a few years, right? You were trying to
Yes.
beat out the competition. I think when we met, maybe 3 months ago, you were thinking about closing your doors.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, I was very, very frustrated with clients who did not want to pay over a certain amount, clients who were calling me all types of night. Like I even had to implement a phone system that cut off the 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 phone from ringing because they would call me at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I felt like I was obligated to answer the phone call or I was going to lose the client. I was so afraid of that. So I was at my wit's end with those type of clients who were taking advantage of me because I was just trying to be nice, trying to be a people pleaser, not trying to upset anyone, not trying to lose them as a client, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
Like,
And you were so overworked. And I think you even shared with me when we were speaking a week ago, like so underpaid, right? Because the
absolutely.
discounting, the charging the low fees, and then you just got yourself in this rut. And now, what I guess what I'm curious to know, and I'm sure someone listening is too, is how did you get yourself out of it? You found us. You didn't close your doors. You've had, I mean, maybe you could share with everyone real quick so they, we want everyone to, you guys need to keep listening because Danielle's story is incredible. And she'll go into the details, but I mean, you really turned things around in the last couple months.
Absolutely. Before I found the abundant accounting, I was searching for other companies similar, and I didn't quite find what I was looking for until I signed up with you all. A lot of other companies, I thought I was looking for just somebody to do marketing for me, which did not work out. It sent me more of these clients that didn't want to pay me, what I deserve, what I feel I deserve to get paid,
Yeah.
or I was signed up through programs that was kind of teaching me what I already knew. They were trying to teach new bookkeepers, how to the basis of bookkeeping and how to keep up the books. I knew all of that. I have plenty of training in that. So on my journey is when I came across, and it was like this was the last resort. If this didn't work out, I was going to take this as a sign that I needed to get out and just
Right. They're
close
like,
the doors.
I need to close the doors. So I think it's really interesting though, Danielle, because for when myself and my partner Denise, we have a lot of phone calls with bookkeepers, CPA firm owners, tax firm owners, and we hear it all the time. I think I need more leads. We think we have a lead
Yeah.
problem, which is actually a marketing problem, where what you realized is that we have a conversion problem. And that if you
Correct.
can't convert at high fees, there's no point in getting any more leads. You don't need another person to talk to, because otherwise it's going to be the same old thing over and over again. And then you're really going to be
Absolutely.
beating your head against a wall and then really have to close your doors. How did you realize, you're like, well, no, I don't need another marketing thing. That didn't work. I don't need to learn any more bookkeeping thing. How did you come from the firm owner perspective that you have a sales problem or a sales challenge? Because I think a lot of times we don't understand really what sales is, and that's the conversion piece and the getting paid your worth and charging those higher fees and having the right clients say yes to you and not even dealing or wasting your time with the clients that don't meet your criteria, and having an actual sales process that you've created. From you 3 months ago, how did you come about that that's the thing that you might have needed?
It was watching one of the videos
Oh,
from you guys. The one of the people who gave their testimony was was talking about how before they came along and signed up, they thought that that was how you were supposed to gain clients. To just go out, offer discounts and market, and you all taught a different way to assess the client, assess
yes,
their
correct.
situation,
Hmm.
go after more than the job that you're going to do. Because at the end of the day, they need the job. They need it to be done. But why? Why do they need the job to be done? What's been going on? What's underneath the surface of why they need this job done so bad, and why has it gotten out of control the way that it has? And in doing that assessment, that brings out the worth. It brings out the letting them know what you plan to do for them so that they can overcome whatever it is that they've been going through to get
Hmm.
this particular job done. So it became more than just a job. It became more about helping people, rise to where they want to be. Just like myself, I want to be somewhere different in life. So I had to change this with how I communicated with clients and brought clients in and thought that I needed to market and
Right.
generate all these leads. I need to do something different in order to get a different outcome and let my
Correct.
make my dreams come true.
Yep. It's so true. And I think it's just, it's not taught to you, and that's okay. But like you said,
Absolutely.
and I know, I think you were researching what other people were charging and other firms,
Yes.
and then you lowered your fees just to try to beat them out. And then you're like, oh, I'll
Yes.
get more clients like that. And then it's just like you're in this revolving hamster wheel circle that you can't get off. But you did get off. I'm just curious. I know you invested in a lot of other programs like you had shared, and it didn't really yield any results that you were looking for. May I ask, how much did you invest in other programs before you said, you know what, I'm going to give one more a shot? Because I think a lot of people have tried other things and they're like, well, why am I going to spend more time and money on something else that might not work?
Right. Right. The other investments were in
Just
the
an approximate.
thousands.
Hmm.
Yeah. So probably about 7,500
Wow.
overall.
Overall.
Overall
Yeah.
is how much it probably cost me, and I made nothing from it.
Back.
Like none
So
of
it's
it
like
back.
you invested 7,500, never saw an ROI, but yet you still enrolled with our program and said, I've got to do
Absolutely.
this because I don't want to close my doors. What is it that you could share that had you enroll in our 8 week sales mastery program? And also what fears came up for you when you took that leap of faith?
When I was on the call with Denise and she was asking me all of the hard questions, she got into asking me about things that I what would you do if you didn't have this situation? If things magically changed, what would you do? And I started naming off all of these things, all these dreams that I had, and she let me know that it was a reality. All this time, I never saw this being a reality. I thought I was going to stay in this rut forever.
Hmm.
With taking in on this investment and investing in it, I've been able to turn things around in a very short time. Like the
Yeah.
time that it took for me to grow the business in these 4 years, I've I've done less time with this program, turning things around and changing things for myself, and I'm so much happy and better as a person
Yeah.
because I feel like the program also, it helps you grow as a person. It teaches you things about yourself that you never even thought, you didn't even know these things about yourself. So
You're like,
I
wait,
really
that
feel
was
like
part of a sales process?
right. I could really do that.
Right. Can you
Uh
share what some of your, major wins were and some of the major things you turned around in your firm and where your revenue was and where your revenue is now?
yes, absolutely. The biggest win is I didn't lose one client. All of my current clients that I have now, I increased their rates, and not one of them said, I can't do this. I'm going to just find somebody else. I did have one at first told me that the price was too high and she was going to find someone else. But then after, I guess, sleeping over it overnight, she called me the next day and said, you know what, I just can't lose you right now. Whatever the fee is, I'll pay it,
And
and,
how
and let's
much
just
did you
let's just
increase your
move
fees?
forward. I increased my fees triple. So my fees went from, I was making less than 5 grand per month, and now I'm making over 15 grand per month. And this is monthly income per month
Yeah,
is what I'm
monthly
making off
recurring
of.
revenue from your monthly bookkeeping clients.
Absolutely. Yes. From
Yeah.
my bookkeeping clients. I charge for quick questions. I
Yeah.
never ever even knew that existed. I never knew existed. I charge for quick questions, and I get quick questions
All
at
the
least four
time.
times a day.
Right.
Yes. So when I let them know that I charge, quick questions started to either go away or they okay, I'll pay it because I know that you have the information that I need, and I'm gonna just send me the invoice so I could pay it so that I could get this answer so that I could move on with my day. No problem.
Right.
So I don't waste my time, on people who just want to drain me, information, keep me on the phone. A quick question. I'm only going to be 1 minute and I'm on there for 1 hour.
Right.
Ridiculous. And I got tired of that. So I changed that. Also, I set boundaries. You're not able to just call me whenever you want with your issues. Up until whatever time you feel like when you're available to talk to me. I talk between this time. If you need me to send you a copy of a tax return, you need a profit and loss, you can submit those things to me through email. You do not have to contact me about that.
Yep.
I had to set boundaries for things like that because people would get on the call with you and just be talking about their life like I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
I
It's
no longer have
crazy,
time for
right?
that. Absolutely.
Yeah. But now you're, generating 15,000 a month. You're so much
Yes.
happier. You didn't have to close
Yes.
your doors.
No.
And I know for you making the investment, you had to find the money. You didn't really have
Yes.
the cash laying around. Your business was doing just under 5 grand a month. You
Correct.
have your daughter, you got your family, you got expenses and bills and all that. Can you
Correct.
share, like, what was your biggest challenge around making the financial commitment up front and also the time commitment? Because I know you needed to do something, but what other how did you overcome that and what did you have to go through and sacrifice in order to even make that happen?
So the time commitment wasn't too bad because the tax season had ended a little bit because I just got done with the extension for all of my late clients, which they got paid late fees. That's another thing I changed. They all paid late fees for coming
Yep.
to me late and the last minute. And they were not happy about it. I said, well, just don't let this happen next year. But I did have the time to invest in the homework assignments and everything that you need to do. The biggest sacrifice I had to make was financial. Because of the income that I do bring in, that income goes towards bills and everything for where I live and to support my family. And I had to have a talk with them to let them know that things were going to be a little tight for a little bit of time, not forever. And I just needed their support. And them giving me the support meant more to me,
Hmm.
than how I was feeling, because that was the biggest thing. I had to sacrifice a lot. Like, my daughter might want ice cream. I'm not going to be able to do ice cream. Like,
Wow.
we need to. I really need to be tight. I go get my nails done and my feet done. Couldn't do that. I had to go on a tight budget and sacrifice things that I love to do for myself because I needed this investment. Like, this was, you sail or you sink, and that's exactly where I was.
Fail or
So
sink. I love it. Yeah.
exactly. So I definitely had to cut a lot of costs, not pay a couple things in order to invest in this because it was very important to me and I knew it was life changing. And it is. It is life changing.
How did you know it was life changing before you saw the other side? Because I think you told me or Denise, like, this is too good to be true. And we
I
hear that quite
absolutely
often.
did. I
This
absolutely
just
did.
sounds too good to be true, right? You just invested $7,500 and other things, none of it worked. And
Right.
how did you overcome that?
It was all of the videos that I watched, the people who have invested in this program and the things that they were saying, their outcome. At first I thought they were paid. No, they got to be being paid to say this stuff.
Oh, really?
But it
Oh, that's
was
so funny.
but it was too many of them saying the same thing. They were in a rut and this was their outcome. They had all of these clients that they were, tired of service, and they felt overworked and they were underpaid. I felt like these people were speaking to me, and then they were
Got it.
saying
Yeah.
there's a brighter side. There's a brighter side to this.
Yeah,
When
there
I
is.
invested,
Yeah.
there was a brighter side. My dreams came true. I was able to do this. I was able to do that. And I was like, and when I talked to Denise, that was the confirmation. She was like, you can have all of those things. You can have all of those things that you want once you start this program and get things started.
Yeah, because you want
And
what, a tutor for your daughter. You want to get another car
absolutely,
so you don't have to share your husband's.
absolutely,
You want to
absolutely.
take a weekend off a month. You want to go to the gym.
Yes,
You want to save the
yes,
money for your dream home. I mean, you had a whole laundry list. You want to go to the spa.
absolutely. Yes, yes, absolutely.
Well, I
And
hope some of those are actually happening now.
yes, they are. They are. And I am able to see that come to light.
Yeah.
And that's what did it for me. Like, the conversation with Denise and those videos with
Yeah.
all of the other, classmates, and then hearing some of the stories during the class also did it for me. It was more of a confirmation.
Hmm.
So,
That's awesome.
yes,
Well, Danielle, it's just so awesome to see your growth and see what you've created and what you've had to overcome. It hasn't been easy. I mean, your grandmother instilled that you need to be your own boss and create a legacy, and you're not going to have a limit, and you're not ever going to have a cap out on your income, but yet you thought about closing your doors again on your
yes,
business, right? And you had to
yes.
probably confront and face that. So kudos to you for having the courage and putting your trust in us
Thank
and
you.
creating the firm that you have today, because whew, it's been awesome to see you, and it's just so great to see your journey and the transformation that you've created. I would love it if you could share with maybe an accounting, a bookkeeping firm, tax resolution firm owner, maybe even a tax attorney listening here on the podcast. Is there anything else that you want to share from your experience, from what you've been through over the last since 2018 to now, or even about the course? Just any last words of advice or wisdom that you have for them that you want to leave them with today?
You are worth the investment, and that's what you need to think of when it comes to signing up for this program. It's an investment for yourself. It's growth for yourself. It's growth for your family. It's to make your dreams come true because you're worth it and you work hard to be where you are today. I appreciate Michelle and Denise creating this program and deciding that they were just going to work with people like us because we kind of get left behind and forgot about. And I know some of you know that and feel that way, but we do the most important job
You do.
of any industry out there. we keep up with people's money.
Yeah.
So we deserve to be at the top of the list and not at the bottom. We
Yeah.
deserve to invest more in ourselves because of the time that we put in to invest in this. So just take a risk like any other risk that you've ever taken, and just step out there and pay the investment because it's worth it. I guarantee you will be very happy at the end of this process.
Yeah. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for taking out the time and sharing the raw and real of what's gone on with you. And, I'm so glad you didn't have to close your doors and that you can just enjoy life. And I hope you bought an awesome car or finding one. I know they're pretty pricey these days.
Absolutely. We are looking.
Oh, good, 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 good. Well, for right now, you can enjoy getting your toes done, your nails done, your daughter's tutor, going to the spa, and getting back to all those fun things that I know you had to sacrifice for a couple of months. But keep up the great work. Keep us posted on your journey and everything you've got
I
going
will.
on. And thank you for being an inspiration to other firm owners, so you're not left behind, because you are the most trusted advisor any person has on their team. Just like people have a doctor they go to and see for their health, you're the financial doctors, and you're the other
Absolutely.
most important piece to their puzzle of life. And guess what? You get to get paid for it too.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you,
So
Michelle.
thank you again for taking out the time and for having the courage to do what you've done.
You are so welcome.
Thank you all so much for joining Danielle and I today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It's always a pleasure and so rewarding to hear our current students share their experience of working with us over here at the Abundant Accountant Empire, and specifically in our 8-week sales mastery training. One of the loveliest quotes I heard her say today was, you can either choose to sail or sink. So choose. What is it that you want to do today? Do you want to sail or sink? What areas can you think about in your firm that we need to let go of? Like she had to let go of discounting, or she had to let go of not having that confidence in her value and looking up other bookkeeping firms to see what they were charging to try to get her fees lower, because it ultimately ended up to her maybe almost closing her doors. But I'm very glad she met us. So if you're interested in learning more about the 8-week sales mastery course, I invite you to go to theabundantcall.com to book your call with myself or my partner. But it's really if you've been struggling with your confidence or your value, or you really don't know how to set or stick to any boundaries, and you feel totally overwhelmed with those needy clients like those that she had calling her 24/7, and have them take control of your firm versus you having in control. And, if you're sick of just not going on those vacations and feeling extremely frustrated about being underpaid and even resentful and being taken advantage of by your clients. So if that's you and you want to step up and take control over your firm revenue and get confidence in charging premium fees and know exactly where your value is and how to get paid your worth, and fire clients who suck out all the energy and time from you, then head on over to theabundantcall.com and let's chat and see what's possible for you and your firm, because you can have all your dreams come true, just like Danielle shared today. So once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com, and myself and Denise look forward to speaking to you. My only requirement is that you own your own firm. Thanks so much for being here, and have a beautiful day.